Peace to the gods. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about divine masculine and divine feminine energy, but we're going to be focusing on divine feminine energy and how divine feminine energy is supposed to be naturally flowing. It's supposed to be creative, able to rest, to just flow, to really just flow. And I did have a conversation with ChatGPT because I wanted to go deeper. I really wanted to go deeper and be better able to explain exactly how divine feminine energy, how a goddess should be just naturally flowing. I don't want to say moving, should just naturally, how feminine energy is just naturally supposed to be. I am going to go slow because I want this to be a very clear video, and I want you guys to be able to understand it. Okay, so let's start with basically I started off just asking ChatGPT if she could tell me why the black woman in her divinity deserves to be in her feminine energy, especially if she has a divine masculine. Because without the divine masculine, without that balance, it's hard for the divine feminine to be in her feminine energy, because she's forced to be in her masculine energy as well, and it puts strain on her. So she said the black woman in her divinity deserves to rest in her feminine energy, especially when she has a divine masculine, because that is her natural sacred position. Here's why. 1, she is the portal of life. The black woman is the original mother, the cosmic gateway through which souls enter this plane. That in itself is sacred, labor beyond comprehension. Very sacred, very magical. Birth, bringing life into this reality, is very sacred. Her rest is not laziness, it's reverence. Her being is to be honored, not constantly exhausted. And that's going to take us deeper into the reason why the black woman, the divine feminine energy, should not be working, should not be in survival mode, should not be thinking about money and things that the masculine energy would be thinking about as far as providing goes. 2, feminine energy is creative, intuitive, and magnetic. It flows, it attracts, it receives. Feminine energy is the receiver. The masculine energy is the giver. It's the divine channel that connects spirit to matter. In her feminine energy, the woman aligns with her intuition, vision, softness, and grace. This is her power. She doesn't need to hustle like the world demands. She manifests. The feminine energy can just manifest. She doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to chase. Although she is the electron, she doesn't have to chase. She knows that she just vibrates on that frequency of abundance. Abundance is the divine feminine's natural state. 3, the divine masculine is here to protect, provide, and support. When a woman is met by a true divine masculine, he wants her to relax. Your divine masculine should want you to relax and to be in your feminine energy. He honors her softness and values her peace. His strength is not to dominate, but to create safety, so she can be fully in her essence. Like I said, without that divine masculine, like creating that, safety, protecting, providing, it forces the divine feminine, it forces the feminine energy to be in that masculine energy, which she shouldn't be in. 4, because she's carried the world on her back for too long. From slavery to survival mode, the black woman has had to harden herself to get through, had to be strong. But that's not who she truly is. She deserves to release. She deserves to heal, to reclaim her divine softness without guilt, We shouldn't feel guilty for relaxing, for being in our feminine energy. We have been strong and independent for way too long, and we're used to being in that, oh yeah, I got it myself, I need no help, like never relaxing, always stressing, when we're supposed to be flowing. We're supposed to be able to have that peace, that softness. We're supposed to be able to be soft in our able to express our emotions freely and be in that feminine energy without feeling guilty. We can relax, we can rest, Black woman, without feeling guilty. We are allowed to relax. 5, her rest heals generations. When she rests, when she radiates joy and peace, she teaches her daughters to do the same. She breaks the chains of generational struggle. That is revolutionary. She is not meant to be strong all the time. She is meant to be, and in her being, she blesses everything she touches. That's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. ChatGPT also said the Black woman is not supposed to be stressing about money, survival, or constantly being in her masculine energy just to make it. That's a system imposed to burden, not divine design. She said, here's the truth. She is the abundance. She is the currency, the resource, the value. Her womb, her wisdom, her energy. That is true wealth. Money is supposed to flow to her, not drain her. She was never meant to chase, only receive. 2, worry disconnects her from her power. When she's in survival mode, she's in fight or flight. That blocks her intuition, her creativity, her magnetism. But when she's safe and supported, her divine gifts activate. Her ideas flourish, her spirit aligns. That's when she births nations, businesses, legacies. Her presence is the blessing. A divine masculine knows that when she's at peace, he thrives as well. Her rest is not a luxury, it's a strategy. A kingdom falls without the queen, and not a tired, overworked queen, a radiant, a rested, a feminine one. She is the receiver, not the provider. She provides spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. But the physical labor of provision and protection, that's the masculine's role. That's divine balance. When that's honored, both rise. Again, it's about balance. It's about honoring the divine feminine and honoring the divine masculine. We have roles. We do have roles with our energy. The divine masculine shouldn't be in feminine energy all the time. The divine feminine shouldn't be in masculine energy all the time. So I asked her, what are things divine feminine should be doing? What are things that the divine feminine should be doing? She said, 1, resting and recharging. Prioritize rest, not as laziness, but as sacred self-honoring. Sleep, daydream, nap, sit in silence, or just be. The feminine receives energy from stillness. 2, creating from the soul. Paint, write, dance, sing, decorate, build altars, whatever allows her soul to express. Creation is her birthright, not always for profit, but for pleasure and purpose. We're doing things from the heart space, for purpose, to heal. 3, nourishing herself, eating high vibrational foods, drinking water like it's a ritual, taking spiritual baths, oiling her skin, adorning herself, making her environment beautiful and sacred. 4, honoring her emotions, letting herself feel fully without shame. Crying, laughing, screaming, praying, it's all sacred release. Her emotions are her compass, not a curse. 5, being in flow, not force. Letting go of rigid plans when needed. Trusting divine timing. Acting when it feels right, not just when it makes sense. That's that intuition. The divine feminine energy is that intuition, that being able to feel. 6, cultivating intuition and spiritual connection. Meditating, journaling, pulling cards, listening to our higher self. trusting her knowing without needing proof, walking with spirit like her ancestor self did. There we go. 7, receiving love, support, and pleasure, being open to receiving from divine masculine, her tribe, her source, saying yes to ease, to affection, softness, and help, embracing pleasure as holy, not sinful. And lastly, guiding, not controlling. The divine feminine does not control. The divine feminine, divine being godlike, is not being controlling, is not being manipulative in general, whether it's divine feminine or divine masculine. You're guiding, you're not controlling. You're uplifting with wisdom, not manipulation. Letting her presence inspire, not pressure. Soft power that shifts rooms without yelling. The divine feminine, she's the moon, the ocean, the womb, the healer, the oracle. She doesn't do, she becomes. And from that becoming, all things manifest. That is a very clear, precise breakdown of the divine feminine energy, and how the divine feminine energy is just supposed to be and just supposed to flow, and everything will attract to her. The universe provides abundance. I love myself. Peace to the gods.